What was it like after everything blew up on OPRAH, and then what were those next 5-10 years like? Because it doesn't necessarily mean everything's easier.
No, it wasn't easier. What was interesting is right before, we had several publishers who were wooing us before OPRAH to publish our book, because now we're a self-published book. We're on the New York Times bestseller list, the only self-published book on the New York Times bestseller list. We're on all the bestseller lists, Wall Street Journal, all of them. So we had several publishers wooing us, and OPRAH calls. And we had one publisher, was Time Warner, and they came to us and they said, on a handshake, we will print and distribute 300,000 books in the next 10 days and get them into bookstores before you go on OPRAH. And that's like the magic that happens, right? As you're going towards your goal and you're driving your mission, then all of a sudden magical things happen along the way. And so we shook hands, and sure enough, we went on OPRAH, and those 300,000 books were sold out like that. But so
wow,
yeah, so
that's
then
crazy.
Yeah, so then now everybody wants to partner with us, right? So now so we've got, people want to teach seminars with us, people want to do coaching with us, everybody wants to be a part of it. So that was tricky to figure out who are the right partners.
Right, back to the mission.
Yeah, and everybody's saying, we'll make you this much money, we'll make you this much money, and we're like, well, wait a minute, who's aligned to the mission? And that was the first time I really faced that, and I wasn't as crystal clear as I am now. So it was muddy. It was muddy on who to work with, who not to work with. We had a partner that was more money-based than we were. So yeah, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It is not. And to this day, it's like this every single day, because you're always pushing the envelope, right? And the purpose of an entrepreneur is to solve problems. So every day something happens and you're like, oh, I didn't expect that. And you got to deal with it. And I also say entrepreneurship is the fast track to personal development. Because every day, right, you're facing something right here. It's like, oh man, and you can't back down from it. You gotta deal with it. So
it totally is. It's taught me so much just being involved in this venture.
Yeah.
Because you have to face your fears. You have to face your nonsense. All the stuff you talk about. You tell yourself you are.
Yeah.
Well, you're told every day if you really are that person,
Yeah.
whether it becomes your business, your relationship with your team,
Yeah.
all that. And also, an entrepreneur doesn't exist unless you take risks.
Exactly.
So you won't be here a year from now unless you're taking risks, sometimes big risks.
Yes.
So you have to get into that process too, of constantly doing that and then failing and adjusting and winning. But what a great way to develop yourself personally and to live potentially an intense and incredible life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I came across a study, and it was a study of centenarians, people that had lived over 100, and they wanted to find what were the common denominators, and they found 3. And one was they had a sense of purpose. It didn't matter how big or small, but they had a sense of purpose. Number 2, they were optimistic. And number 3 was resiliency, how well you come back from a setback. When you hit that wall, do you fall down? Do you get up? Do you go through it? And I'm like, those seem like the three characteristics of a good entrepreneur to me. Sense of purpose, optimistic, and resilient.
Yeah.
If you're not resilient and you can't persevere, do not become an entrepreneur. Do not do it. You're just going to be. It'll be a exercise in futility.
Is it not for everyone?
It's not for everyone.
Right.
No.
But I do think that if people try it, they'll learn a lot about themselves very quickly.
Yes.
And if you can do it, like you said, part-time.
Yeah.
It's a great way to learn.
Yeah, because then I think you'll make better decisions because you kind of have the safety net of your paycheck. So the decision. So when Robert and I started the Rich Dad Company, we had a vow that every decision we made would not be a decision for what put money in our pocket, but for what furthered the mission. That was the vow. And at that time we were financially free, so we had that cushion. We didn't have to worry about that. But a lot of people I see, they quit their job, they start their part-time business, and because they're struggling for money, they make bad decisions because they're just trying to find how to put money in their pocket to keep their business alive. So I think if you are an employee, that's a smart way to go. What you just said, to start a part-time business, start learning what it takes. The reality, you got to get the reality of what it takes. I thought, Brian, this was my thought. When I When Robert and I had our first date back in 1984, he asked me in Hawaii.
Okay.
He said, "What do you want to do with your life?" I had been fired twice from the same job out of college, twice.
From the same job?
Yep. Okay. They fired me and they hired me back and they fired me again. And I knew I wanted my own business. So on our first date, he said, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "I want my own business, but I don't know anything about entrepreneurship. I've never been around entrepreneurs." And Robert said, "Well, I've started several businesses and all of my friends are entrepreneurs." I'm like, "Great, perfect." So 2 months later, I started my first business. But the funniest thought I had coming from an employee was, "Oh, now my time is my time. I'll do it whenever I want. And I'll have all this free time and it's going to be on my schedule." Wrong. No, you work 24/7. I had no free time. And I'm like, okay, so that was a myth I had. But that was my mindset as an employee, that where you work 9 to 5, oh, now I can get up and I can start at 11. And if I want to work at night, I can work at night. No, you're working, especially when you're starting a business, it's 24/7.